Well, commiserations today, Gary. A desperately disappointing performance.
Very much so, John. Very, very disappointed, very embarrassed, very uncomfortable. As a manager of a football team at the end of the day, which I select, what I put out in the park, what I as a manager try and get the best out of. But I thought the application, apart from the first 15-20 minutes of the game, apart from that, was far, far, far below what is required. Not only today, at any time, John. You know, you can't have a situation where you have the support what we have and people working hard up and down the country to go and follow us and giving us showing like that. But as I say, we have to look at ourselves in a big, big way, because it's probably, the way I look at it really, probably the most disappointing day that I've had as a manager since I've been at Woking. And not in respect of thinking to myself or saying this and saying that of anything untowards, because I'll take a responsibility for this football club and I'll go work with the tools I've got to go work with at the end of the day, and it's football and that's where football is. But I'm very, very disappointed in respect of, I don't think at the moment that we're showing enough for the supporters of the football club, that it hurts enough collectively as a group, and it's got to change rapidly, John, because we are, without doubt, which I said at the start of the season, going to be in for our first big testing season under my management. I knew that, and it's always been hard, but we've always been on the right side of the sunshine in respect of high up in the league, farther away than what we should be. The league's getting stronger, it's getting more competitive. We have to stay in this league, and if those players at the end of the day can't rise for the occasion, well, one way or another, I've got to turn around and assess the situation with the club going forward.
It did seem particularly disappointing today, Gary, that once we conceded the first goal, heads did seem to drop, and then we gave away, of course, more sloppy, soft goals, and it really wasn't until Charlie Carter came on, who's, you know, a young boy out of the academy, that we seemed to sort of pull ourselves together a little bit later on.
Well, I look at it both ways here, John. I think the goals are soft, I think they're cheap goals, as you quite rightly say, and I think the goals recently have been cheap, what we've conceded, even though we've shown a lot of character and come back and put some good, very encouraging performances in games when we're chasing games. The goals we're conceding are too easy, they're too cheap. But then I look at the other side of things and I say to myself, well, you know, Charlie Carter did come on and do well, but it's a lot more easier, John, with the greatest respect, to come on when it's 3 or 4-0 when the game's gone. Are they easing up? Is the game stretched? Charlie Carter's a good lad, he's done well when he's come on today, and he's done well when he's played in the past. But, you know, at the end of the day, you expect our Charlie Carter came on for 25 minutes, half an hour, and showed that kind of attitude and commitment and desire. That should be an example for those players sitting on the bench, those players out on the park, to turn around and say, look, he's come on, look at the energy and the work he's showing. So we've got some major surgery at the moment, John, that's for sure. There's no doubt about that in respect of the goals we're conceding and the manner we're conceding goals, and we've got to do a lot more. The changing room from the top as a manager, with my coach Steve Thompson and the players all together, have got to do a lot more than what we're doing at the minute.
And Gary, do you think there's something about us playing away from home? Because obviously at home, our home form recently has been decent, and we have been showing a lot of character and fight, and yet it hasn't been there really in away matches, has it? Oh, I mean, obviously Tranmere was an exception, but Bromley on Tuesday night, there was a capitulation at the end there, and again, obviously today, heads really did seem to drop.
Well, I think at the end of the day, it's a situation where you've got to play your home and you've got to play your away games, John. Overall, each season we've always done well away from home. At the moment, that ain't happening away from home. As you quite rightly say, recently our own form's been very encouraging. But you can't be, whoever you're playing against, John, even though you can take a lot of encouragement out of the way we've come back against Torquay and the second half performances against Chester and Wrexham and Eastleigh, you can't chase games in this level, because we're giving too many goals away. We've got the worst defensive record in the league, you know, so that tells you, irrespective of what formation you play, we played 4-4-2, we played 4-3-3, we played 5-3-2, we played trying to make the engine turn round and tune right, you know, and being fair to the defenders at times, balls get given away cheaply in other areas of the field and we get punished for it, we get stretched when we're giving the ball away, and you know, there's a situation there which we've got to work on, John. We've got to work. I knew it was always going to be a testing season going forward, and it doesn't matter what anybody says to me, John, away from this football club, or offer anything, or say this and say that. My commitment and my loyalty and my values will always be at Woking Football Club, as long as I'm manager of Woking going forward. So I don't think there's no weakness on my side. There will never be no weakness on my side in any way or form. I pull the players, I pull the supporters through a lot of things at times because I'm a positive person. But, you know, at the moment, John, I've got a changing room which is, I'm afraid to say, not doing enough. As I said earlier to the players in there, I've had situations in charge of clubs in the past where, I don't know whether it's the modern day football player today, it don't seem to hurt them so much as where it used to. I've had changing rooms where doors have got kicked in by players. I'm not saying we've got to go in and smash it up like this and that, but I've had players fighting, and it's got to mean something to you. It's got to mean something in a big way, John. I'm 57 next week, 57, but I'm hurting in a bad way tonight because I feel at the end of the day that we're not playing ball with a football club at the moment. So I've got a lot of work to do, and the playing squad, what we've got at the moment, and the playing squad going forward, have got a lot of work to do because we have got to make sure, and number one for me will be making sure we remain in this league, and we need an FA Cup run, John. This football club needs a generation of money, and it hasn't been done in respect of where we've got over the last couple of years in a good position to push on. We've had some good people, and we've still got good people at the football club on the board, volunteers, supporters who go here, there and everywhere, and I just hurt for them. I really do hurt for those supporters at the moment. That's where I feel more guilty of, you know, as a manager, of the supporters and the people who work at this football club and give time, money and effort for these players who go out on the park. And it's my job as well to now sort out the wheat from the shaft going forward, because, as I say, we are restricted. There's no secret about that in any way or form, that we are restricted. But as I say, I will really be working very, very hard and always continue to, because I want to be in this league.
I was going to say, Gary, obviously resources that we know at the club are fairly limited, but I mean, is there any scope at all to look at perhaps moving players in and out at all, or is it really too early to say?
You've got situations where you are, John, at the end of the day at the football club, and like, you know, we are where we are at the football club. There's an honest board there. I think they've had an honest board always ever since I've been at the football club. I think we've lost one or two very honest people from the board over the last period of time. But I think at the end of the day, you know, as a football club at the moment, I think that we have got a show to go to work, win, lose or draw on a Saturday, that we're wearing a shirt, we're wearing a commitment to hold our hand out as a manager, as a player, at the end of the month, saying we've given it our best shot and we're earning it. And on today's show, I'm afraid to say, disappointed and honest enough to say, not good enough, mate.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Gary. Safe journey home.
Cheers.